Okay, welcome back. Dr. Ifeanyi Emeka, a public affairs analyst, has joined me for press review this morning. Dr. Ifeanyi Emeka is also a lecturer with Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka. Welcome, Doc.
Good morning.
Okay.
And good morning to all our viewers.
All right, let's move on to our website to see the stories that are making the rounds there. Today, Independence Anniversary, Soludo urges Nigerians to uphold sense of patriotism. And then Anambra Information Commissioner MEFO introduces weekly radio programmer for heads of MDAs. Mixed reactions through Nigeria's 64th Independence Anniversary is another story from our website this morning, but the last one will be new archdeacon recreated in Obaru Diocese. Yes, Doc, let's look at the independence. Nigeria at 64. You know, what we have been able to achieve for ourselves.
First of all, we have to thank God for the privilege and opportunity for Nigeria to be celebrating their 64th independence as a nation. Mm-hmm. So far, even though we might not be where we expected to be, but if there is development or not, if there is an improvement or not, there is. Maybe at the rate it is, might not be the rate of average, the rate in which average Nigerians expected it to be. But the truth of the matter is that we are developing, and we have been a republic, and the nation has been moving.
Okay, let's look at the reactions of people. Some people are saying that judging the what do you call it? The speech of the president yesterday, that he seems to be insensitive to the sufferings of the masses, or to be disconnected sort of from what is on ground in Nigeria.
Truly, that has been the problem with our with leadership in Africa, or in Nigeria in particular, because a lot of people, a lot of leaders, it seems to be disconnected from the reality. Honestly, when President Tinubu came into power, became the president of Nigeria, I was among the people that are of the opinion that President Tinubu will be connected to the masses, that President Tinubu will have, as a former governor and as a grassroots mobilizer and a politician, that he will be he will have the interest and the connection with the people. That was what I believed. Maybe it is the paraphernalia of power and where the protocols of power and these things, where people are disconnected, where people in power are disconnected from the people. I think it might be a reason why they usually lose direct contact to feel what the people are feeling. Because the way Nigeria is going now and the way this present administration is, the way this present administration is paddling the boat of the country, I must tell you that truly I feel, and not just me, other Nigerians too, as they feel, that the President Tinubu-led administration of this APC might not be in direct contact with the feelings of the masses. And if you listen to that speech, it is more a theoretical thing than being practical. The approach is there. The approach is there, and not really practical. So I think there is need that the president and the people who are closer to the president should re-strategize, because the truth of it is that the issue of Nigeria is now in the hands of President Bola Tinubu from now to 2027. That's just the truth.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get into the papers and find out what's trending. Our first paper this morning will be Daily Times, as we have so many of them coming. The Punch, the Vanguard, the Daily Independence, this day, and so many of them. So let's start with the Daily Times this morning. On the front page of the Daily Times, I have this banner headline that said, "Mixed reactions to Nigerians, a 64th Independence Anniversary." Let's look at the riders too, where is some of them trying to point out exactly where their reactions are coming from. We are retooling economy to serve Nigerians better. This is coming from Tinubu. And then Independence Day speech confirms APC's insensitivity to Nigerians. PDP saying this. And CSOs protest high cost of living across cities. Okay, other stories from here say troops arrest 8 terrorism suspects, 2 kidnappers, informants in Taraba. And Nigeria carriers in urgent need of support, say aviation experts. And Nigeria at 64, Obi seeks independence from state capture, end to suffering. Okay. And then despite clampdown selling, a spraying of Naira notes at parties still persists. Nigeria imported 20.30 billion liters of petrol in 2023, says MBS. Okay, down here we have Middle Belt minorities demand secession from North. Others decried decades of marginalization, fought British colonialists. Okay, any other story of interest? Bobrisky, NCOs affirm suspension of 7 senior officers. Okay, let's look at the next paper, which is the Punch newspaper. Let us punch the punch this morning. Okay, October 1 protest record low turnout nationwide, with riders there. Kaduna, Plateau, Nasarawa, others shown rally, a heavy police presence in Osun and Niger. Police arrest 10 in Kano, Port Harcourt, as NANS backs president's youth confab. Wow. Okay. Divide and rule tactics. Down here, Tinubu governors preach patriotism at 64th Independence Day parades. Other stories, federal government extends rice subsidy programs to states. 5 suspects arrested for allegedly killing Ogun fisherman. Iran launches 180 missiles at Israel. Federal government plans Nigeria's evacuation. I think it's necessary because I learned that a whole lot of people are stranded now in Lebanon. Okay, petrol imports dropped by 3.58 billion liters after subsidy removal. Federal government is saying this. We'll look at the next paper, Vanguard, before we start talking. Vanguard newspaper, fearless in October protests. Soldiers, police crack down on protesters in Rivers, Abuja, and Kano, with some tiny things around there. Okay, Independence Day speech. Tinubu failed to address Nigerians' problems. This is coming from CSOs. And then Iran launches missile attack at Israel. I didn't steal Kaduna's money. I can swear with Quran, says ex-governor El-Rufai. Government set NOUN facility ablaze in Imo. That's National Open University of Nigeria. Okay, any other story of interest here? None that I know. Okay, Emirate lands in Lagos 2 years after Emirate lands in Lagos 2 years after suspending operations is another story of interest coming from Vanguard newspaper. Okay, let's look at the mixed reaction. Of course, we have talked a little about that. Maybe we need to move on to what the president says that he is doing. He is focusing on, which is fighting terrorism and banditry. And that informs this story on top of the net template of Daily Times. Troops arrest 8 terrorism suspects, 2 kidnappers, informants in Taraba. Let's look at that.
It is good because insecurity is one of the major problems or one of the major challenges Nigeria is presently facing. Because truth of it is that no matter how we look at it, insecurity is a major problem in the whole of Nigeria. Not just the north, including the south, the southeast, the southwest. A lot of people cannot go to their farms. That is among the reasons why we have high cost of food. Because people no longer go to their farms. People find it difficult to farm because of insecurity. People find it difficult to move their goods around and services around. Moving around is now becoming a very risky thing. even though there are many other numerous other challenges that are facing our country, our nation, but the truth of it is that insecurity is a very important issue because it affects the nook and cranny of the nation. It affects development. It affects peace. So for the President Tinubu to come out to say that he's focusing on insecurity, yes, it is good. I must applaud him for that. And there is need for more work to be done. Because so far, I don't think that enough work has been done. So there is need to increase the pace in which the security of this country is being taken to task. That is one. But through other developed nations and all these things, they don't just rely on security alone. They don't just rely on providing security alone, because one of the problems of security also is one of the major causes of insecurity also is joblessness. Because the truth is that within our society, a lot of youth, I don't want to reel out statistics or whatever, but the truth is that large number of youths are jobless. They have nothing to do. Companies are leaving Nigeria. A lot of things. And our farms, people cannot go to farms. The businesses, the economy, these things are affecting because a lot of people, I have spoken to some business owners and they will tell you, you see, they can't run on diesel and still have this number of staffs. They are paying salaries. You see, these things are affecting. Then aspect of it. So I pray that President Tinubu's administration, they look at other aspects of development. Then also, I want to, I heard where you said the Bobrisky issue that prison officials have confirmed suspension of 7 staffs. I think it is time for people to start bearing responsibility of things. So now at least people are being questioned. That is why I said earlier when we were talking about our Democracy Day celebration, I said earlier that truly we are improving, even though.
Are you conversant with the story of Bobrisky and why those guys are suspended? The prison staff?
The prison staff. Yes, I think it's not fully, but I have preliminary information on that. Because I think it is based on accusation by a social media influencer called Very Dark Man in social media who brought a voice note of conversation of Bobrisky and some other person where discussions are being made, and at the end what is being coming out from it is that he or she, whatever gender he belongs
he
to,
and she.
is it he or she, whatever gender he belongs to.
No, he and she.
He and she at the center. He has multiple gender. Where that is just it. That he wasn't in the prison facilities as expected to be. So people are now beginning to ask questions. I think we are developing.
Okay, fine. Middle Belt minorities demand secession from North and then others. What is the reason? They decry decades of marginalization, fought British colonialists.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of agitations here and there. Yeah. The Oduduwa nation wants to leave, Biafra nation wants to leave, now Middle Beltans. I come out, okay, even Ijaw, and the whole lot of them. So where does that leave us, and what does that tell of a nation where all the children of the nation wants to stay on their own?
And that is the problem. If the center can no longer hold, that is what is just happening, because things are not working the way it is expected to be. Everybody feels that self-actualization, that ethnic actualization is the alternative source to their development. That is what is happening. Because not just the Southeast, people have been agitating here and there, as you mentioned now, and even the Oduduwas. What they are trying to do is that people are looking for alternative to solve their problem. Now, the Middle Belt, now trying to, I don't know if they want to succeed, they want succession from the Northerners, or they want to become a zone of their own. But whatever, I think they are trying to find a way of ameliorating their suffering or the hardship in the nation. So I think there is need for unity conference. There is need that Nigeria comes to the table. I heard somewhere, I briefly from President Tinubu's speech where he was saying he was going to have a 30-day communication with a 30-day program with the youths so that he can explain the situation of Nigeria to them. What we need is sovereign conference to discuss the unity of Nigeria, to discuss the existence and how Nigeria is going to work. That's just the truth.
Okay, let's look at the protest, yesterday's protest. As captured by Vanguard and the Punch newspaper. October 1 protest record low turnout nationwide, and Vanguard says soldiers, police crack down on protesters in Rivers State and Abuja. Is protest not fundamentally human rights for Nigerians? Okay, because I know it is captured in the Constitution that you are free to say that this thing that we are doing, I don't like it. This is the way I want it.
Of course.
So why is it that whenever there's a protest in Nigeria, there's a crackdown, there's an arrest? Of course, arrest was recorded in Kano and Abuja and a whole lot of things. Or how must we even protest in the first place?
That is the thing. Must we even protest? But the truth is that people are looking for a way to communicate their grievances, a way to show that things are not moving the way it should be. That is why the easiest possible way of communication is protest. For civil servants, the first channel or the easiest channel for them to communicate their grievances is usually strike. So also it is applicable to the general public, the people who feel that.
As you guys are gearing off for another round now. Another round of strike.
Honestly, it is fast hitting off. It is fast hitting off. Honestly, it is fast hitting off. You know, the problem we have in Nigeria, the thing started from President Buhari's administration and cracked into President Tinubu's administration. And the truth is that a lot of things, very soon now, ASU will be going on full strike.
Oh, that's the form of protest too.
Yes, a form of
so
protest
the question
too.
is, do we need to protest? And if we do, why should the soldiers or the police crack down on protesters?
Honestly, that is still a part that Africa have not been dealing well with. It is still a part where it is still an aspect where our democracy still need to grow on. Our democracy still need to grow on it because the government of the day usually see protesters as people that are anti-government, people that are attacking their policies. But it is not like that. Even in Western nations, protests still go on and government listen to them. So I don't think Africans are beg on our leaders. Let us, it is a general beg on our leaders to see protesters as people who are trying to communicate their grievances and not people who are trying to attack the peace of the nation, especially when the protest is peaceful.
What is a peaceful protest? Okay, thank you very much. Let's look at other papers that we have here. Daily Independent is going to be our next paper. There are other stories that we might need to go back and touch, but let's first of all read out the papers. Okay, so Daily Independent, Tinubu draws flag over plan to convoke National Youth Confab. Okay.
He was talking about the 30 days program.
So let me look at the riders here. Youth Confab will be useless. Implement 2014 National Confab. This is coming from MBF. It is designed to divert attention from bad governance, says peers. And revisit report of the past Confab committees, past Confab and committees. Forget Youth Confab. This is coming from Shelley. And then youth must be heard. Concerns addressed, but crash PMS price first. This is coming from Sage. Okay, speech empty. Confirmation of Tinubu's insensitivity, says PDP. Okay, I think it was the convening of the conference with for the youth as part of the speech. President's speech yesterday. But still, let's look at other stories here before we start talking. Police explain development of officers, deployment of officers to RCEC headquarters with a rider there. Rivers APC requests support for October 5 local government election. Federal government distribute 2,000 CNG-powered tricycles to youths. My government won't surrender to bear first blackmail. This is coming from Fubara. Fubara is the governor of Rivers State. Emirates resumes operation. That's good news. And then this other story here. Protesters in Benin, Oshobo, Akure asked Tinubu to reverse harsh policies. With a rider there, police suspected miscreants dispersed protesters in Rivers. Okay. Okay, let's look at our next paper now, which is This Day newspaper. This Day is up for review. Tinubu lists Shetima, others in magnificent 64th Independence Anniversary Gas Parade. Is what we have on top of the name template of this newspaper. But at the body of the paper will say Nigeria at 64 with President Tinubu, our nation will rise again. Okay, that's good to hear. Hope alive. Okay, let's look at Guardian. Let's look at Guardian newspaper. And then on the front page of Guardian newspaper, protest counter man Nigeria's 64th Independence Day celebration. Protest discontent man Nigeria's 64th Independence Day celebration, as what we have as banner headline there. But let's see if we can make see any other story coming from there. CDHR advocates removal of states from federal structure. You have removed local government. Then, okay, Southwest in need of modern ranches, not open grazing of old, is another story coming from here. Let's see. Jonathan Obi advocates strong institutions as Tinubu leads Independence Day celebration. Okay. Independence Day, Governor salutes Nigerians for resilience amid hardship. Rufai, I didn't still as governor. I am ready to swear with Quran. Okay. ASU gives federal government 35-day ultimatum on lingering crisis. PDP, not one-man enterprise. Governors reply in Wike's early. Who says you got to prove that to Nigerians. Okay, let's move over to Daily Trust newspaper and see what, the stories that are making the rounds there. Daily Trust newspaper is up for review, please. Fearless in October. Is there even a hashtag? Okay, fearless in October. Protest in Lagos, Ondo, Osun halted in Abuja. Okay, Kano, Akwa Ibom, others shun demonstration. Other stories coming from here. Media Trust elevates Idris Iyaji to DEIC, and then GE, Sela Amilaya Editor. Okay, Independence Day, Jonathan, governors, Mark say Nigeria will overcome challenges. Okay. Any other story of interest? Northern Youth celebrates Independence Day. Appreciate President Tinubu. That's good to hear. Okay, Tribune is up for review. Nigerian Tribune, protests in Lagos, Abuja, others over hardship. Any other story of interest? I will swear with I've seen that story several times. Makinde extends subsidized transport scheme by 6 months. Federal government confers national honors on Akpabio, Kekere Ekun, Kalu. National honors on Kekere Ekun that just came in yesterday. What has she done to deserve that? Okay, I think I need one too. Because I've served more than her.
No, she has been a Supreme Court judge of repute.
Okay.
You know.
I know. Okay, let's take the last paper before we start talking. The last paper this morning is the Blueprint. Blueprint newspaper, where are you? Okay. Okay, fine. Tinubu's 30-day confab excites Youth Council. Ndibo, APC, others. Okay, let's look at the riders now. Conference milestone on youth engagement, NYCN. President assures on local government financial autonomy, tax burden, and then federal government to support states, FCT with CNG buses. Okay, that's cool. Showere defiance as low turnout mass October 1st protest. Kanu, Kaduna, others shun demonstration. And then any other story here. WHO targets 2.5 million naira Borno children for third polio immunization, even when they're homeless. Okay, fine. Yes, Dr. Emeka.
Yes. As we discussed earlier, I think a lot of Nigerians are also feeling that it is not yet time for protests or maybe some people still believe that maybe with time, if President Tinubu re-strategize his policies or make some changes in his administrative instructions and all these things, that things can improve. Though even if things don't improve, people don't believe that outright protest because of the situation of the area, the Africa where we are, or the government. We are talking about crackdown on protesters and all these things. People find it difficult to carry out protests. And another thing is that our society, I have partaken in protests. I have partaken from student days, from student unionism and all these things. You discover that if we want to protest now to government house from this our radio from this station now, what you discover that once we come out at the gate, you see some hoodlums join us. While we are moving, they start destroying properties and all these things. This is the major problem. But normally, how protest takes place is that people communicate to the police that they want to do protest. For police to give security for proper protests. But when the securities are not being provided, then problems start coming up. And if problems start coming up, then crackdown follows up. So sometimes people are afraid of coming out for protests. And at the same time, some people feel it is not yet time for protests. Then there are other issues. We have talked about the youth confab that President Tinubu is suggesting. Some people are happy over it. Some people feel it is necessary for the youth to come together for maybe, I don't know if it is for the president to brief them, to tell them what he has been doing or how he's going to do it, or all these things. So for me, I think it's unnecessary. Calling the youth or hosting the youth for 30 days, some few people, not up to 1% of Nigerian youth, hosting some few people for 30 days in a good hotel accommodation and start telling them these things. I think the president should look more.
Where is he going to keep all the youth in Nigeria? They're sending delegates or what?
Yeah, they're sending delegates. That's what I'm saying. Now, the people that are going to come will not be up to 1% of Nigerian youth. They'll just invite youth from different quarters, different organizations, CSOs, bring some few people and host them in one hotel, and the president and presidential aides will come and tell them story that this is what we have done and this is what. I don't think it is. I don't think it solves problem. It is more of political than being realistic. So what I feel is that
some critics say is for him to divert attention.
Thank you.
Divert attention from bad governance.
Bad governance. I think it is totally unnecessary and unwarranted. Let us face governance. Time of politics have passed. Electoral process have passed. We have elected him as president. It is left for him to prove to Nigerians that he's worth it. Then Governor Rufai, we have read it repeatedly, shouting, telling everybody that he didn't steal, that they should bring Quran. I don't think that Quran is a way of investigation in Nigeria. So if there are allegations, he should allow the due process of law to investigate, and if there are things found, then he can now defend himself in law courts.
Okay, let's look at, you come from the institution of higher learning, and yes, you guys are gearing up for another strike. We saw where I say you are giving 35 days. Yes. And this story here says federal government insincerity igniting fresh round of industrial crisis, and this is coming from ASU. So, how do you mean by insincerity? Was what you asked for not given to you the time you asked for it?
It's not given to. We also have a lot of challenges. Like, for instance, President Buhari's administration, we know that ASU went on strike for almost 7.5 months. Then, after promise and every promise, the salaries of staffs were delayed. Then after promise and every promise, 4 months salary out of the 7 months we are paid, and the rest up to now have not been paid. The outcome of that strike was implementation of 25% and 35% increase. 25% for other lecturers and 35% increase for professors. And I'm telling you, according to President Tinubu's administration and all this, it was supposed to start from January 2023. The arrears and other things. As I'm talking to you now, it has not been paid. People have not received.
The arrears have not been paid,
yes,
or the increment has not been
implemented? The increments have been implemented from this year 2024, but the arrears of this increment have not been paid. So there are other challenges. Renovation or the major reasons why ASU went to strike was for government to have full attention on education, to put more fund in education, to see that our education system is working, that
that was the major reason?
Yeah, that's the major reason.
And did you achieve it before you call off the strike?
It was not fully achieved. There are promises, there are a lot of things, EAA, and the academic allowances and other things that, or research allowances and other things that were promised. It
wasn't achieved and you called off the strike.
With
hoping that it will be achieved.
Remember, it was a court order.
And
remember, it was a court order that returned that
made you call off the strike?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, the federal government took ASU to court.
Okay. So?
There was a court order by the court ordering ASU to return back to work for discussions to commence.
Was it a court order of return to work or no work, no pay that made you return?
No, there was a no work, no pay, which was different from the court order that mandated ASU to return back to work. It is different. There was no work, no pay, because the court says that the ASU has right to go to strike, and also that the federal government as employer of labor has right to withhold salaries of people on strike.
What has ASU done after the court order mandated you to get back to work, even when you have not achieved what you went for strike for? So after that, what was your reaction? You keep ASU relaxed, waiting for next session to come for another round of strike?
There have been several discussions. There have been several, even as I think last month, or it's not up to 2 years, as of last month, there was another federal government delegation led by the Minister of Education that have discussions with ASU leadership. There have been several discussions with federal government delegations and all these things with ASU. But the problem that we have is that all these promises and delegations are not being implemented. There are promises. There are engagements. Well, as ASU is talking now, very soon now you hear of another meeting scheduled between the government agencies and ASU. They will come together. The problem ASU has is that there are discussions. But why this discussion? They don't say we will not do this, we will not do this. They will say we are working on it, we are coming. And ASU keep waiting endlessly.
Okay.
I think federal government should, for the interest of our youth, because the university system is hosting and housing large population of youths in Nigeria. I think the best option, the federal government should give a little attention to our education society. I think the federal government should at least have more dialogue.
Okay.
With not only ASU, with other associations in the university also.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emeka, for joining us this morning. That's Dr. Ifeanyi Emeka, a public affairs analyst and also a lecturer from Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Thank you very much for joining us.
Even though I am not speaking for ASU, I am speaking on my personal opinion. I want to clarify.
You now realize that you are not speaking for ASU.
No, I'm not. Even though, yes, I'm not speaking for ASU. I'm not an executive of ASU, but I am a member.
Okay.
But I don't have authority or mandate to
You're
speak for
ASU.
Yes, I am affected. Not just that I am a concerned citizen.
Okay, that's
I'm affected. Yes.
Okay, some of us have this feelings that when you are asking for something, you've not gotten it, you're asked to get back to work, you go back to hoping to go on strike again. Why don't you just stay put, get what you want? Because you know they will deceive you again to get back to work and they will still give it to you. So why don't you stay put, get what you want before? Because you already know the kind of person you are playing with. That kind of a thing. But it's still okay. Our children have to go to school.
All right, that is necessary.
Yes.
ASU also considers that because ASU members also have students in the university, have children in the university at the same time. You know, the problem ASU have at a certain point, it was as if it was a problem, it was misconception, because ASU was not just fighting with the federal government. Even the students and the parents at home are feeling that ASU are maybe delaying their children from going to school.
Yeah, now I'm talking for the authority.
I should not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay, that's where we're
much.
doing the curtain on newspaper review this morning. God keeping us. We'll be back tomorrow morning to start from where we stopped. Thank you. But do join us as we look at gas. You know what is gas? The one oxygen that you breathe to be alive. Yeah. We're going to look at that. Look at how potent, how clean, how good the one that you are taking in is good, and what you need to do to make your environment very friendly for you to get fresh and good oxygen for breath. So don't go, please.